What needs to hit the next level? That's the secondary for the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. The Oklahoma Sooners have a secondary question mark, at least at cornerback, but at safety, they look good to go. I mean, that's been a group that's been one of the better position groups for the Sooners over the last couple of years. Brandon Hall's done a great job. But on the outside, you've got some potential in a lot of blue chip prospects that Jay Valai has recruited to Oklahoma. Now we just got to see those guys live up to that potential.
Yeah, the secondary's got a lot of good pieces that we can work with. And like you said, Jay Valai as well as Brandon Hall have done a fantastic job over the last couple of years. There have been questions about Jay Valai and the transfers he's brought in. Like, he hasn't brought in a transfer that just took over the way you would have liked. Like, I really like Des Malone. I didn't have any issues with Kenai Walker. I saw improvements over him year over year, but he had a tendency of getting burnt. If you brought him in for short yardage, he was fantastic, but he would get outran by other players. But when you look at the young secondary, and this is the one thing as I dug into it, you've got 5 guys that are over 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall or taller. That's 5, and you got 7 of them, they're 5'11" up. So you've got some height there. And I think that the competition is going to be great. Eli Bowen is currently in a boot. He sprained his ankle, so he's down for a little bit. And I think Jeremiah Newcomb as well is kind of sitting out. But I mean, you still got Devon Jordan, the track athlete from Tulsa Union, which, was one that we feel like we kind of forget about it. 5'11". He needs to put on a little bit more bulk. He's 177 right now, but he's actually a really good corner. He can keep up with some of the fast players he has to go up against. So all he needs to do is leverage his athleticism. And then you got Jacobe Johnson, who we start to see some, growth out of him over the last couple of years. And he's 6'2", 205. What you need in the SEC is at least have one big corner to go with your other corner. So the list to me, especially at DB, at the cornerback spot, we got some players that it's going to surprise some folks.
I mean, it's a lot of potential. And it's
the
the position group that has probably the most intriguing position battle on the defensive side of the ball. You might put like offensive line as maybe the most intriguing position battle on the team, but cornerback is right up there, especially with Eli Bowen sitting out. There's a lot of opportunities for guys to potentially earn some snaps. But really, like we said earlier this week, it comes down to you got to have Gentry Williams and his shoulder healthy all year long.
Yeah.
And I think that'll make you feel a lot more comfortable about what you have at cornerback than you do right now. Are there some guys that are really good, potentially players? Absolutely, there are. From Jeremiah Newcomb and Cortland Guillory and Maliek Hawkins, those guys got potential. Jacobe Johnson has a lot of potential. It's just time to start seeing that potential come to fruition. And, it's a good thing that a lot of the turnover at quarterback has happened this year, where, you're not seeing guys like Jackson Dart. You're not seeing Jalen Milroe, although you cook Jalen Milroe. You're not seeing Quinn Ewers, although everybody expects Arch to be better, it's still, you're going from a veteran quarterback to a first-year starter at quarterback in Arch Manning. You get to see Nico, but Nico was a little bit gun-shy at times last year. Does he get more confidence going into this year? We'll see. You still get to see Lenore Sellers passing. I mean, he can do it. It's not his game. So that you have turnover or that you have question marks at cornerback this year, to me, is not as concerning as it was last year. But I think that they can answer those questions if Gentry Williams is healthy, if Eli Bowen is healthy. I think everybody feels a lot better about the cornerback group. But Jacobe Johnson, man, now's the time for that guy to take a step. If there's anybody in the DB room that it's time for them to make their presence known, it's that guy. He's been around. He's been here. It's year 3 for him, right? It's time to start seeing that breakout happen. he didn't really deal with injuries much last year. And he had some good moments, like moments you didn't hear his name called. To me, as a cornerback, if you don't hear their name called, it's a good moment.
Yeah.
Also, some moments where he struggled. He fell down on a couple routes, and that burnt Oklahoma. But now it's time for him to put it together with a big offseason and go be an impact player.
No, I agree with you there. It's time for him to step up. So when I'm looking at these young corners we have, who do you think has a better chance of getting some extended run from Jocelyn Malaska, Trystan Haynes, Maliek Hawkins, Cortland Guillory, Devon Jordan, or Jeremiah Newcomb?
I'm going to say Maliek Hawkins simply because he knows what's expected. He's not going to be surprised by what the coaching staff is asking him to do, is expecting him to do, and what it takes to play at a high level. I mean, from Michael to, Big Mike, like he has all the inside information that he needs to make an impact in year one. If he's able to get the defense down, show out in spring ball and fall camp. We've seen that they were not shy about playing a true freshman at corner just last year in Eli Bowen.
Yeah.
And I'd venture to say that Maliek Hawkins has a bit higher of a ceiling than Eli Bowen does. And so that's the guy that I think is kind of went really, really underrated in the 2025 recruiting class. But I think it has an opportunity to stand out above the rest simply because of his background.
No, I'm with you on that. To me, Trystan Haynes, man, watching him at Carl Albert at his height at 6'1", he's put on a little bit more weight, but at 173, I feel like he's going to be threatening folks for their jobs. I think that he has the talent to do that. And I think Cortland Guillory has so much dog in him. Mm-hmm. He's going to be pushing and fighting for a chance to play. But that does not drop down anything on Malaska as well as Devon Jordan, which I liked watching Devon Jordan at Union and seeing the way that he was able to compete. He's super fast, and that's one of those things that's much needed. You need track guys at corner sometimes because you're going to be dealing with some dudes that got some jets. I mean, watch Cam Coleman basically suck up Kip Lewis on that pick six. He chased him all the way down from across the field. You're like, oh God, this dude is fast. So you've got to have guys keep up with that. But I do think that I think Trystan Haynes is the one, if I was to pick one, that's probably going to jump out. We didn't really get to talk much about the safeties. We're going to have to do that on another episode and really dive into that because, man, that and Cheetah, whoo! Man.
I think everybody's excited.
That's our strongest room. Yeah, everybody's excited about safety. So we're gonna hold that back on y'all, and y'all get that later.
Yeah, because there's so many good players in that group. It's crazy that they've been able to stack them like that. And we haven't even seen the icing on the cake at safety just yet. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. We got to talk offensive line. I totally got the rundown confused in my brain over there. But we'll talk offensive line coming up next. Are they improving? Are they going to be ready to have a resurgent season? Are they going to bounce back? We'll discuss all that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.